Back to Portland, Frank Vogel spoke with Mike Trudell in the media a few minutes ago.
Okay, Frank, we know AD had the stomach illness and wasn't able to come back. Was that something you were concerned about pregame, and how did you think that evolved?
Yeah, he was battling the thumb, trying to figure if that was going to inhibit him from playing. And then, he woke up this afternoon with a bit of a stomach bug. Came back in and said the thumb felt pretty good, probably good enough to play, and he went and threw up in the back. Still wanted to give it a go, but by the time tip-off came around, he had already thrown up 4 times. And he wanted to try to, just see if getting out on the floor would change it, but wasn't able to go.
What did you see, especially once he went out, and the different kinds of defenses you were trying to throw out, and just the different personnel groupings? What were you trying to get together?
Yeah, we're struggling to contain quick, deep shooting guards. With this year's personnel and the way we like to bring double teams. So we pulled back on it some, and those guys took advantage of it. I mean, before we pulled back on it, we weren't tough enough, with our low man and our rotations, and we weren't containing their guards in the trap well enough. So neither one was happening. We pulled back into our base coverage, and that's risky against shooters like Dame and CJ. And they got going a little bit, and at that point when we were down, we just tried to junk the game up.
Frank, obviously tonight Russ was 1 for 13, and you see the air balls and shots not going off the backboard, not hitting the rim. How do you evaluate his performance, not just tonight, but generally the 10-game marker is a pretty good checkpoint. How tonight especially, what have you got from him?
Yeah, he's shown flashes of being great for us. We all didn't have a good night. The whole team didn't have a good night, and we got to find ways as a coaching staff to help him and put him in a position to succeed. And it's on all of us, to make sure that happens, make sure he gets comfortable and feels good, about the environment around him. And that's what we're working towards. We're all sticking together. We're all believing in the same thing, and we're going to get through nights like tonight.
Frank, you guys held it to 15 points in the second quarter, kind of got back into it, and I think it was 42 in the third. What was not occurring on the defensive end that needed to?
Well, like I said, we pulled back on our double teams because we weren't executing them well enough, like we haven't been the last few games. So we fell back into some of our base coverages, and Dame's been cold. Dame got hot. That's the biggest thing that sticks out. And obviously you try to, they go on a run, you try to junk the game up again and play a little more zone, and we weren't very good in the zone during that stretch either. So credit the Blazers for playing great.
When you someone evaluates your team over effectiveness like this 10-game stretch, and if so, when you see these first 10 games?
Yeah, I don't keep a 10-game marker. There's a constant evaluation going on all year, and every time this group is in front of us, we learn something more about what they can and can't do, and ways to put them in positions to succeed. That's what our coaching staff is focused on. And tonight we just didn't have enough, didn't play well enough.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
I guess I throw it to you guys with this. The injury bug has really hit this team early. There's nothing you can do about that. And it's not an excuse, but when you look at Ariza, THT, and none that haven't played, LeBron's missed 4 of the 10 games. They won't show. First and third quarters, 78-40. James and Rob, 78-40 Blazers. That's minus 38 in the first and third quarters.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like we're going to have to wait a while. I mean, this game was, it was Portland's game. Damian Lillard only scored, 4 points the last game out. He was going to come back and try to win at home. But, yeah, the Lakers they're not in sync on either end of the floor. There's no excuses, but we are missing players. Tucker's out, Nunn's out. LeBron, a major ingredient. Russ still fighting his way through situations. It doesn't look good. They shouldn't get outplayed the way they were outplayed. They shouldn't be getting out-rebounded and things like that. But when you're not in sync, it starts to affect the mental capacity. And sometimes you're not ready. You think you are. You're going through the motions. They're in a tough spot right now. without any continuity of players that they can depend on for 5-6 games straight, so they can get some type of connection. They don't have it, and it's showing up in games against Oklahoma. It's showing up against young teams like Memphis, and it's showing up just about every game. So they got a lot of work to do. A lot of pressure on the coaching staff right now to try to, create some stability and get some players back on the floor and practice.
If you look at the way they came out very relaxed. Like, okay, Portland's been struggling, Damian Lillard's been struggling, and this is a team that you can attack and get a win, maybe. But it was the opposite. It's almost everybody's going to go at the Lakers just because they are the Lakers. They have LeBron James. They have Carmelo Anthony. They have all these future Hall of Famers on their team. And so they need to come out with some type of energy and some type of effort every night, because people are going to come at them each and every night. Because I guarantee you, on their board, in the locker room, they're saying, this is our championship game. This is a team that's supposed to win the West. This is how we can, see how we stack up.
Yeah, you talk about matching energy, and you fall behind by 22 in the first quarter in the game, 34. And listen, there are nights when you get blown out in the NBA. We all know that. But it's a snowball effect, right? I mean, you see those 2 losses against OKC. You see the 3 losses against the playoff teams, at least that you consider playoff teams, in Golden State, Phoenix, and Trailblazers. So, like you said, James, there hasn't been too many positives, right? I mean, at 5-5 through the first 10 games, this is definitely a struggle. Tonight, it was all ends, but offensively never in a rhythm, right? When you just look at the way they shot, I mean, they finished it at 34%, but that was well below 30 until those last few minutes. It was 23% from 3. It moved up to 28 because they got a couple of points at the end. I mean, James, with 2 minutes left, they only had 78 points. They ended up with a season low 90.
This is a film you don't even want to look at, because there's a million things that you could point out. It was just no continuity. I mean, when you're missing players, that's going to happen. But where's the fight? There's got to be some fight on the defensive end. Everybody can play defense and try to affect the game that way. But I don't think they're there. I don't think they have any connection on defense.
It's on that second unit that showed some fight.
Second unit.
Yeah, we're playing hard, but if you look at the plus minus from the starting unit, it's not there tonight, big fella.
And that's where it has to start. It has to start with them. And the guys that come in behind that, they're there to sustain or try to pick up. And they did. They chipped away at it. I think they got it down to, 12. But they just could not sustain the defense toward the end of the half. Portland took it back up.
Let's talk Russ tonight. No starters in double figures. We mentioned AD only playing 7 minutes. Stomach ailment, so wasn't the thumb, is what we were told. 2 points, just 1 for 5. Russ 1 for 13 tonight. The only make was a 3, actually, Rob.
I know. If you look at the
8 points,
when you watch Russ play, and when he's been on other teams, he go to the basket and he can get to the rim, it's a bucket. It's like now he's short arm and stuff. He's missing. I think he didn't have one game where he just tries to dunk everything. Because right now the layups aren't working, the jump shot's not working. He need to either go into Rondo mode where he's reluctant to shoot or something. But hopefully Frank Vogel find a way to make the game easier for him, because we always want to make the game easier for the guys that aren't the superstars, because we figure the superstars can figure out. They can get